Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Hobbii Friends Kids Silk. The 72% mohair, 25% silk, 3% wool yarn features 73 colors. The colorway that we chose is 09 Nougat. This 25-gram skein with 200 meters or 218 yards works up as a lace weight yarn. The suggested gauge on a US 6 and 7 or 4 to 4.5 millimeter needles is 22 stitches and 28 rows per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For our swatch, I'll be holding it double and using a 4.5 millimeter needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Hobbii Friends Kids Silk using our 4 categories, which are traction, softness, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Would you like to feel a sample of our top picks out of over 100 yarns that we've reviewed on our channel? Click the link below to get your first month's free, specialty yarn card, knitting patterns, and more. Let's get started. For traction, we give it a score of 3.5 out of 5. One of the reasons I like to review a mohair holding it double is to really get a sense of how the yarn is to work with. The slightly shiny core made it easier to see my stitches and where I was working, even if my needle got caught in the fibers. But it very quickly became irritating on my hands. One reason was that the fibers were a little prickly, which isn't always the most enjoyable thing to work with. But I was pleased that it didn't have a ton of fibers flying everywhere like I've heard is common with mohair. For softness, we give it a score of 4.1 out of 5. Even though most mohairs are a combination of mohair and silk, sometimes even wool like this one, somehow they all feel different. And we're here to tell you about them. First thoughts, it didn't feel like the highest quality to me, a little squeaky or plasticky, which I was hoping for a little bit better considering the price point. I was actually surprised that it felt kind of drying and rustic on my sensitive skin rather than soft and cozy. It did actually get better with time, but the irritation still kind of lingered. Now hear me out, blocking did help some, but this is unfortunately another mohair that I might need to add to my potentially skin irritating list, at least for working with it and before blocking. For a comparison, after blocking, it is softer than knitting for olive pure silk and not quite as soft as Santa's Garn Tin Silk mohair. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Drops Kid Silk mohair. The micron count for Kid Silk generally falls in the range of 14 to 18 microns, making it almost comparable to cashmere, but we'd probably put this one at the higher end at 18 or even 20. Don't get me wrong, yes, it is softer after blocking too, with still a slightly prickly feeling, but it was working with it that I'm not sure I could do for an entire garment. We always recommend you buy only one skein of yarn first so you can make sure you like it and that it's not irritating for your skin, and this one is no exception. If you're not sure how it'll do, start with the one skein. You can always purchase more. For durability, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. So there are 3 fibers here: mohair, silk, and a tiny bit of wool. The long and thin mohair fibers are actually stronger than steel of the same diameter, so it has some integrity to say the least. And then there is the silk content, which is known for its strength and resilience. We can't quite vouch for how durable the wool is since we don't know what kind it is. But yes, you've got a pretty strong yarn right here. And when it came to our stress test, we noticed 2 very small pills fabric to fabric and 4 when feeling the swatch with my hands. For cost, we give it a score of 3.3 out of 5. For being a 25-gram skein, you can expect to pay $13 US per skein. That breaks down to about 6 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater quantity would cost approximately $78 single-stranded. Overall, we give Hobbii Friends Kids Silk a score of 3.85 out of 5. It has a very large color selection, but for the price, I was just hoping for a little bit more, but I am glad that we got to try it out. Have you used Hobbii Friends Kid Silk yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.